Now at this step, we have our functions ready to be used by the agent. The first one is wait times function. The second one is the cipher chain needed to answer cipher queries, and the reviews vector chain that will be used to answer queries that need a research in a vector store. Now we'll see how to build our agent and how to provide these functions as tools to the agent. So here we create our agent to which we pass the LLM. I'm using the same LLM that I used in the previous steps, which is the Qwen 330 billions. I pass the system prompt, which is a prompt that we pull from Hugging Face Hub. You can definitely not use this prompt and you create your own. And of course, our agent needs the tools that it will use to answer to the user query. Let's take a look at this list of tools. In total, we have 4 tools. Let's look at the first one. The function is the invocation of the reviews vector chain. So it's here where a search in the vector store is used to answer to the user query, and we give the description of this tool. So the tool name and description are very important, guys, because our agent will base itself on them to decide which tool to call to answer to the user query. So this is why we explain to the agent when and how to use this tool. So here we say that this tool is useful when you need to answer questions about patient experiences, feelings, or any other qualitative question that could be answered about a patient using semantic search. So here we are talking about semantic search. So a semantic similarity will be calculated between the user query and all the documents in the vector store to return the most relevant documents to answer to the user query. We even precise when this tool is not useful, and at the end we even precise how this tool should use the user query. So we say if the prompt of the user is are patients satisfied with their care, the input to this tool should be the whole query, because here we are applying a semantic search, so we need the whole query to be used to calculate similarity to return the most relevant information to answer to the user query. Now let's look to the second tool. So this one we call it graph, which is the invocation of the cipher chain. And here again, we explain that this is useful for answering questions about patients, physicians, hospitals, and so on. And here again, we precise that the input to this tool should be the entire prompt. So here you can ask yourselves and you say, why are we passing the whole prompt as we need a cipher query? The answer is that in the cipher chain, we actually have 2 LLMs. The first one is the cipher LLM, which is used to generate cipher queries based on the user query. And the second one will generate the answer given the cipher query result. So this is why here we need the whole prompt to be passed to the cipher chain, and the conversion to a cipher query will be done inside the chain. Now the next 2 tools are wait time, which will be used to answer queries about current wait times, and the availability tool to answer queries about the shortest wait time. Now, once we defined our agent, we pass it alongside with tools to the agent executor to create the agent's runtime. And here we put return intermediate steps and verbose to true to print the agent's thought process and tools that it calls. Now let's try out our agent using some queries. So here is how we use our agent. We invoke the agent executor that we've just created here. And the first query that we'll try is what is the wait time at Wallace Hamilton? So let's try this out. And here we have different steps. The agent decides to invoke the wait tool because we are asking for the wait time. The agent passes the hospital name as a parameter to the wait time function. And here is the output of the function, which is the wait time at this hospital. And based on that, the agent returns the answer to the user, saying that the current time at Wallace Hamilton Hospital is 9 hours and 14 minutes. Let's try another query, which is which hospital has the shortest wait time? Here, the agent decides to call the availability tool, which is the tool used to return the shortest wait time. So this was a good choice from the agent. Here we have the tool output, which is the name of the hospital with the wait time. And the agent answers to the user by saying that the hospital with the shortest wait time is Taylor and Sons with a wait time of 2 minutes. Now, our next query is what have patients said about their quality of rest during their stay? I leave you guess, guys. Here we are asking about patients' reviews. This is why the agent decides to call experiences tool the whole prompt as the tool input as we ask it for in the tool description. Here we have the tool output, which is a JSON object containing the queries that has been given to the tool and the answer in the result. The agent takes this output and returns the answer to the user. So here, as you see, as an answer, we have patients have shared several concerns regarding their quality of rest during their hospital stay. And here we have some examples, which are patients' names with their reviews. So what happened here behind the scenes is that based on the user query, the agent decides that experiences tool is the best tool to answer to the query. It passes the whole prompt as we asked in the tool description. This tool uses the vector store that stores patients' reviews. So a similarity search will be done between the user prompt and all the reviews stored in the vector store. The LLM of the experiences tool takes the result of the vector store search and formulates an answer that will be given by the agent. If you need more details on the steps followed in the reviews chain, which is used in the experiences tool, I suggest you guys to watch the previous videos of this series where I explain every chain used in these tools in detail. Now let's try our last query, which is which physician has treated the most patients covered by Cigna insurance. Let's run this query. And here again, our agent made a good choice by deciding to call the graph tool that uses Neo4j graph database to answer to queries. And here again, the agent knows that it should pass the whole prompt to the tool. This is based on the tool description. Once the tool is called, the cipher chain is invoked. In the cipher chain, we have the LLM that translates the user prompt. The graph database is queried with this query, and here is the result of the query. So we have the physician name and the number of patients that he has treated and who are covered by Cigna insurance. Now, the LLM in the cipher chain takes these results and formulates an answer to the initial query that will be returned to the user by the agents. Here again, if you need more details on the different steps of this cipher chain, don't hesitate to go and watch previous videos where I explain these chains. So till now, guys, we've had good answers from our agent, and our agent did a good job by choosing the right tool to answer to the user query. But it happens that the agent makes mistakes when choosing the tool. Let's look at this example where we ask for reviews written by patient 7674. Let's see what happens in this situation. So here the agent decides to call the experiences tool, so querying the vector store to return an answer. But here the agent say that it doesn't find an answer to the query related to the patient in question. So here it would have been possible to have an answer using this tool. So by querying the vector store, if the vector store contained the answer, and of course, the search in this vector store should return this information, which is not always the case. So in this case, it would have been easier to query directly the graph database by asking to look up directly to reviews corresponding to patient 7674. And the good news is that we can precise this in the query by telling the agent use the graph database to answer to the query. And this is what we will do in the next query. So here we ask the agent to query the graph database to show reviews written by patient 7674. And here it's kind of obliging the agent to use this tool. So it makes it easier for it. Let's run this. And here we see that now the agent is calling the graph tool, and we have the whole process related to this, the Cypher query, and this time we have what we asked for, which is the review written by patient with this ID. And here we have the last LLM that reformulates the answer to the user. So here, of course, in real life, it's not the best way to use the agent because the agent is supposed to know which tool to call. And that's why it's important to describe very well what a tool does. But I just wanted to show you that we can force the agent to choose the tool that we want to use. And this, of course, needs to have knowledge about the available tools. So this is it, guys, for today. In the next video, I will show you how to deploy your agent and use a Streamlit UI to interact with it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and don't hesitate to ask me questions in the video comments, and see you next time.